a plane that fits in your garage and lands on water. Imagine owning a personal aircraft that can take off from water, fit inside your garage, and turn every flight into an adventure. And here's where things start to feel different from anything else in aviation. Most small airplanes you see were built for one thing: getting from point A to point B. Training flights, business travel, long cross-country routes. Functional, practical, sometimes a little boring. The Icon, a 5, flipped that idea on its head. This aircraft wasn't built just for transportation. It was built for experience, the kind of flying that makes people fall in love with aviation in the first place. At roughly $300,000, the A5 sits in a strange category. It's not a commercial plane, and it's not exactly a traditional recreational aircraft either. Instead, it's something closer to an adventure machine. And that's exactly why it's getting so much attention. Pilots aren't buying it just to travel somewhere faster. They're buying it because of what it lets them do. Imagine lifting off from a short runway, climbing just a few hundred feet, and cruising slowly above a quiet lake. No crowded airports, no packed terminals, just open sky. The A5 lets pilots skim along coastlines, explore hidden lakes, and touch down on water like a boat gliding to shore. And sometimes, at slower speeds, you can even fly with the canopy open and feel the air rushing past the cockpit. Icon's entire mission was simple: remove the barriers that make aviation intimidating. Make flying easier. Make it safer. And most importantly, make it fun again. And clearly, that idea worked, because more people than ever suddenly want one. Wait, you're watching right now but not subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button so we can move on with the video. You did? Okay, cool. Now back to the planes. But the moment you actually see the Icon A5, one thing becomes obvious. This doesn't look like a normal airplane. The design feels like it rolled straight out of a sci-fi movie. The body is low, smooth, and aggressively aerodynamic, with curves that look more like a high-end sports car than a traditional aircraft. There are no awkward angles or bulky parts sticking out. Everything flows. And despite how sleek it looks, the plane is surprisingly compact. The A5 measures about 23 feet in length with a 34-foot wingspan, making it small enough to handle easily but still large enough to feel stable in the air. Every inch of that structure has a purpose. And here's a detail many people overlook. Most of the aircraft is built from carbon fiber. That matters more than you might think. Carbon fiber is extremely lightweight, which helps the aircraft stay efficient in the air. At the same time, it's incredibly strong and durable, allowing the plane to handle repeated takeoffs and landings on both land and water. Even better, it's corrosion resistant, which is critical for an amphibious aircraft constantly exposed to moisture. So while the A5 may look like a toy at first glance, the engineering underneath is serious. Another clever design choice is the high wing configuration. The wings sit above the cockpit, giving pilots a wider field of view and keeping them clear of water spray during takeoff. The result is an aircraft that feels stable, balanced, and purpose-built for adventure flying. But here's the feature that really surprises people. The wings fold. Yes, on the Icon A5, both wings swing back neatly along the fuselage. In less than a minute, the aircraft transforms from a flying machine into something that suddenly looks towable. And that changes everything. Because now, instead of leaving the plane at an airport, owners can attach it to a trailer and tow it behind a vehicle, just like a boat. Think about that for a second. You could drive the aircraft to a lake, unfold the wings, launch it from the shoreline, and be airborne shortly after. No complicated airport logistics, no waiting for runway slots. Even better, the folded wings make it small enough to fit inside a standard home garage. That alone removes one of aviation's highest hidden costs: expensive airport hangar fees. Suddenly, the aircraft becomes something much more personal. Owners can store it at home, transport it easily, and launch from different locations whenever the weather looks perfect. And that's exactly how the A5 was designed to be used. Not as a strict aviation machine, but more like a weekend adventure vehicle, the flying equivalent of a jet ski or off-road camper. And honestly, that lifestyle appeal is exactly why so many people want one. But here's the moment where the icon A5 truly separates itself from most airplanes. It doesn't just land on runways, it lands on water. The aircraft is built with retractable landing gear, which means pilots can switch between traditional runway landings and water landings depending on where they're flying. Wheels down for pavement, wheels up for lakes. That flexibility instantly turns thousands of waterways into potential landing spots. And the real secret behind this ability is the aircraft's V-shaped hull. Instead of a flat underside like most airplanes, the A5's hull is designed more like a high-performance boat. When approaching a lake, the aircraft glides downward and gently meets the surface, with the hull slicing through small waves instead of slapping against them. The result feels surprisingly smooth. From the cockpit, the experience is almost surreal. The aircraft skims toward the water, the hull touches the surface like a speedboat easing into a glide, and the plane gradually slows as it slides across the lake. That one capability changes how pilots explore. Instead of hunting for airports, they can land near beaches, small islands, remote mountain lakes, or quiet coastal areas that traditional aircraft simply can't reach. Even the wings help support that mission. The twin-tipped winglets improve aerodynamic efficiency and stability, especially during low-altitude flight. So whether cruising along a coastline or descending toward open water, the aircraft stays remarkably balanced and controlled. And once you step inside the icon A5, the design philosophy becomes even clearer. This cockpit was built to feel approachable. Traditional aircraft interiors can look intimidating. Switches everywhere, complicated gauges, rows of unfamiliar controls. The A5 intentionally avoids that feeling. The layout is clean, simple, and designed so even newer pilots can understand it quickly. The first thing most people notice is the bubble canopy. Instead of thick frames blocking the view, the canopy wraps around the cockpit like a transparent dome. That gives pilots nearly 360-degree visibility, turning every flight into a panoramic experience. When you're flying over water, mountains, or coastline, that view becomes a huge part of the appeal. The cabin itself seats two people side by side, which creates a completely different atmosphere compared to a small training aircraft. Rather than sitting behind someone like a student pilot, both occupants share the same view and the same experience. The seats are finished in weather-resistant leather, built to handle outdoor environments while still staying comfortable during longer flights. And here's a detail that makes the aircraft feel even less like a traditional plane. At lower speeds, the canopy can remain partially open, creating a kind of convertible flying experience. Wind flows through the cockpit, the landscape moves slowly below, and suddenly the flight feels less like transportation and more like pure adventure. Now, this part often surprises people about the Icon A5. The Icon A5 is designed for fun and adventure, but its cockpit technology is surprisingly advanced, yet simple and intuitive. At the center sits a 7-inch Garmin G3X touchscreen, acting as the aircraft's brain. Instead of scanning multiple gauges, pilots view airspeed, altitude, navigation, and real-time flight data on a single, smartphone-style interface. This makes flying approachable, especially for new pilots. Icon kept the cockpit minimal, with fewer switches and distractions, giving a clear understanding of flight conditions. A standout safety feature is the angle of attack indicator, rare in light sport aircraft. It shows how air flows over the wings and alerts pilots before a stall, a leading cause of small aircraft accidents. Even more remarkable is the ballistic recovery system. In emergencies, a rocket-deployed parachute can be activated with a cockpit lever, slowing descent and stabilizing the aircraft for a controlled landing. This adds reassurance for recreational pilots, families, and first-time owners. Power comes from a Rotax 912IS engine, a 100-horsepower, reliable, and efficient power plant used in thousands of light aircraft. The A5's top speed is about 109 miles per hour, not designed for racing, but for cruising slowly and enjoying scenery, lakes, coastlines, and mountains. Fuel efficiency is impressive at 4 gallons per hour, giving a range of up to 450 miles with its 20-gallon tank. Pilots can explore remote locations comfortably without constant refueling, making the Icon A5 a unique blend of safety, simplicity, and pure flying enjoyment.
And now all AOA gauge, we're climbing up at that AOA white line. That's what we want. We got a nice, good, positive rate of climb. Safely airborne, the gear's coming up.
It's really important to always have muscle memory with bringing your gear up. Running through checklist flows, having a trigger that every single time after you rotate, positive rate, you're safely airborne, your hand should be on that gear handle bringing it up.
And this is where flying the Icon A5 starts to feel almost effortless. One of its most impressive traits is how little space it needs to get airborne. On land, the aircraft requires about 670 feet of runway to take off. On water, it needs roughly 800 feet. That's a remarkably short distance in aviation terms. It means the aircraft can operate from small airstrips, quiet lakes, and remote areas, where larger planes simply wouldn't have enough room to safely depart. Once you're in the air, pilots often describe the handling in similar ways. The aircraft feels stable, responsive, and easy to control. Controls react smoothly without feeling overly sensitive, which is exactly what recreational pilots want during relaxed flights. The high-wing design also plays a big role here. Because the wings sit above the cockpit, the pilot gets a clearer view of everything below. Nothing is blocking the scenery, just the open sky and the landscape unfolding beneath you. That design also keeps the wings safely above water spray during takeoffs and landings. But the real magic of the A5 shows up during low-altitude flying. Cruising slowly along a coastline, gliding over mountain valleys, or following the curve of a lake shoreline suddenly feels less like transportation and more like pure exploration. The aircraft doesn't rush you through the journey. It lets you experience every part of it. But here's something that quietly sets the Icon A5 apart from many small airplanes: the way it was engineered around safety. One of the most important features is its spin-resistant airframe. In aviation, a spin happens when an aircraft stalls unevenly and begins rotating downward in a tight spiral. Recovering from that situation requires specific training and quick pilot reactions. Even experienced pilots have to practice those maneuvers repeatedly. Icon approached the problem differently. Instead of relying only on pilot skill to recover from spins, the A5 was engineered to greatly reduce the chance of entering one in the first place. The airframe design, combined with its wing characteristics, helps keep the aircraft stable even when flying slowly or maneuvering at lower altitudes. The engine system also plays a role in safety. The aircraft uses Full Authority Digital Engine Control, or FADEC, paired with the Rotax 912IS. This computer system automatically manages engine performance, adjusts fuel delivery, and keeps everything running efficiently without constant pilot input. Less manual engine management means less workload for the pilot. Beyond that, the aircraft includes strategically placed emergency exits and onboard flotation equipment, designed specifically for water operations. Put together, these systems reflect a clear goal: making the aircraft one of the safest light sport planes available. But owning an aircraft usually comes with a reputation: complex maintenance, strict regulations, and expensive upkeep. Icon tried to change that with the Icon A5. From the beginning, the company designed the plane to be simple to maintain and straightforward to service. Key components are easy to access, and the systems were intentionally kept less complicated than those found in larger aircraft. A big reason for that simplicity is that the Rotax 912 is powering the plane. The Rotax series has a strong reputation in aviation circles for reliability and relatively low maintenance requirements, making it a popular choice for many light aircraft. Another major advantage is the aircraft's classification. The A5 falls under the light sport aircraft category, which comes with several regulatory benefits. Compared to traditional aircraft ownership, the rules for maintenance and operation are generally less restrictive and easier to manage. And the pilot requirements are also simpler. Instead of needing a full private pilot certification, pilots can fly the aircraft with a sport pilot license. That certification typically requires far fewer training hours than traditional pilot licenses. For many people interested in aviation, that difference removes a huge barrier. It means entering the world of flight can feel far more accessible than it once did. Now, here's the question. Many people ask first, how much does a machine like the Icon A5 actually cost? The typical price lands around $300,000. At first glance, that sounds expensive. But when you compare it to other luxury hobbies, the picture shifts a bit. High-end boats, exotic sports cars, and performance recreational vehicles can easily reach similar price ranges. What makes the A5 different is the kind of experiences it offers. Owners aren't just buying transportation. They're investing in something closer to a lifestyle machine. A weekend flight might mean launching from a lake at sunrise, cruising along a quiet coastline, or landing near a remote island that few people ever reach. That sense of freedom is a big part of the appeal. Unlike some aircraft, The A5 is rarely offered for charter or rental. Most units are privately owned, and buyers tend to keep them for personal adventures rather than commercial use. That exclusivity adds another layer of attraction. For many pilots and aviation enthusiasts, the aircraft represents something bigger than a vehicle. It represents exploration, independence, and the simple thrill of flying somewhere completely different. The icon. A5 proves aviation doesn't have to be complicated or intimidating. It turns flying into pure adventure, whether landing on a lake or cruising above mountains. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and tell us which aircraft we should explore next. Your idea might appear in our next video.